Hey, Luke.
I assume you're still with American Free Press.
Hey, Luke. Hey. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to get you on camera 5 years ago when I saw you here, but I wanted to talk to you about a few things, about some
just a little bit.
No, I want to talk now. I mean, you don't have to, obviously. You have free will. But I want to talk to you about some misinformation that you put out there and some information about you and 9/11 I don't take direction from you, dude, but about you covering up what you were motioning, about you covering up the fact that Israel carried out the 9/11 attacks, and you say it was Saudi Arabia, and some misinformation and some interesting theories about the founder of We Are Change and his mysterious death, and folks saying that you may have had something to do with that.
Do you have a question to ask?
Well, I just want to get your thoughts. And why are you going around spreading misinformation about 9/11 when you're alleging that you're a 9/11
I don't think I ever
advocate?
spread misinformation.
Well, do you go out and say?
I don't always.
Well, you said Saudi Arabia carried it out, and very recently.
Well, there was elements within the Saudi Arabian intelligence that were a part of it, which was exposed through the 28 pages, which was exposed through how the hijackers were trained.
But Israel carried out 9/11 attacks.
Well, they were a part of it. There was large components of many governments, not just Saudi Arabia, intelligence agencies within the U.S. and some say Israel, and I think that's very possible. But again, as a journalist, I know my reputation is very important. I know that a lot of information did come out about Saudi Arabia and their intelligence agencies where they were colluding with the actual hijackers, paying for their rent, paying for their flight schools.
Well, there's the hijackers that are still alive, because they said that there were 19 hijackers, and then they said, oh no, there's not 19 hijackers because some of them are still alive.
Well, there's a lot of information out there, and there's a lot of disinformation out there. I might have misspoken once or twice.
But I'm talking about very recently with the 28 pages.
Let me just finish. There's a lot of misinformation, and I might have misspoken once, and I don't fully believe it was only Saudi Arabia. There's obviously other elements involved with Israel within the United States and other intelligence agencies.
But it's dual Israeli citizens within the United States mostly. I mean, there were a few others, but for the most part, it was almost exclusively dual Israeli citizens.
I'm willing to concede that sometimes I misspeak and don't speak perfectly.
So,
sometimes in the moment, what I usually do is just shoot videos right away and just speak off the cuff. And sometimes I make mistakes, so I'm not perfect.
Oh, God bless. And I appreciate you talking to me about this.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty much misinformation if anybody does not go out and say, hey, this is Israel, and most of this Bilderberg stuff, and 66% of the folks that are in there are dual Israeli citizens.
I respect your opinion.
Yeah.
And I concede that I'm not perfect and don't always get everything right. And sometimes I do misspeak.
Yeah, and another thing, we go out and we basically say, and obviously we're armed, we're packing, we're in Virginia, we're the Virginia Militia, and we say basically every bit of activism that doesn't call for the immediate arrest and trial for treason and seizure of assets of not just the Bilderberg members, but of all government officials in every nation, and we'll even include all Bar Association lawyers and judges, millionaires and billionaires, is basically a waste of time. And seizure of assets and the turning over of all the deadly weapons of war is really the only solution, and that anything else is just, I don't know, folks making money off of activism for just leading people in the wrong direction. What do you think about that?
Well, I respect your opinion. You spoke about a lot of different things, so it's very hard to...
Yeah, but it's pretty concise. You know, basically...
It's very expanded upon, and it's very, very generalized. I respect your opinion. I could do some research on it if you give me some information. And
I mean, you know who I am. I mean,
I honestly do not.
Okay, well, then that's a problem. That's why you must be, like, you know, spewing misinformation. And, I talked to you about this 5 years ago. And I didn't have a camera then, but now I've got one, and I know that a lot of the guys you hang out with, and even you are purported to be a quote-unquote dual Israeli citizen. So
I'm not.
Well, Adam Kokesh is.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's Adam Kokesh. I have nothing to do with Adam Kokesh. He's his own separate individual. I'm my own separate individual.
Yeah. That's what, it just seems like a lot of Israeli misinformation from you guys and
I've been
what you...
critical of the Israeli government, and especially their actions inside of Syria, and especially their actions in collusion with also Saudi Arabia. And if you look at a lot of content I make, I did make videos specifically about the Israeli government. I think facts are construed, and a lot of people use kind of their racism and bigotry against a whole race of people, when I think the problem is more about the institutions and the governments who carry out actions
Like Chabad-Lubavitch.
carry out actions on behalf of their kind of representative people, and I think we should concentrate on that. And I have been very critical of the Israeli government, especially with their support of radical
Well, what do you
Islamic
think about
terrorists.
Donald Trump? I mean, and
Well,
what...
I'm not satisfied with Donald Trump.
Satisfied? Do you think Donald Trump is a criminal?
I think the actions he committed inside of Syria, I think the actions he committed by arming Saudi Arabia, I think the actions he committed by expanding the military budget and cutting programs here is not in the best benefit of the American
Is it
people.
criminal? I know it is criminal. I know it's treasonous.
It's hard because I'm not a lawyer or criminal prosecutor to label someone a criminal or not.
Do you think Bar Association attorneys are criminals?
I have no idea. I don't like the legal system, to be honest with you. But
Where you just were advocating and saying you didn't comprehend the law because you're not a lawyer.
yeah, I'm not.
But
I don't
what
understand
lawyers
that
do
system.
you consider that lawful?
I don't know
we're
if it's-
all lawyers and judges
I
working
think-
for the same
I think-
organization.
I think an argument I would make is whether it's moral or immoral. And I think a lot of the actions perpetrated by these people.
that's subjective. We're talking about law. You see, like there's a law in Virginia Constitution that says, I can walk around with a gun, but that's not just it about that. It says that the body of the people are the number one law enforcement arm and the exclusive law enforcement arm of...
Well, we would need to sit down and you would need to teach me more about that, because this is
Okay,
something that I
fair
haven't
enough.
learned about.
Fair enough. You do a good job of dodging questions and obfuscating, but
I'm not trying to dodge any questions. I'm here talking.
no, I know. I mean, you are dodging questions, but that's fine.
I'm not trying to dodge any questions.
That's all right.
I'm standing right in front of you, and I'm engaging in a dialogue, and I'm talking to you.
No, I mean,
That's a favor that I'm sending to you, to your time,
No,
because
I-
you obviously have some concerns, and I'm trying to talk to you about those concerns.
what about the embezzling of money from We Are Change?
That'd be very hard to do, because a lot of the first responders who I worked on behalf of
No.
saw the paperwork and saw the
So what you're
accounting
saying
and
is
saw
when
the
you were
work.
eating an apple in that video and that guy was confronting you with information that he alleges that you were going out to bars with We Are Change money,
That's not
that
true.
it
At
was
that
it
time,
was just
I had
100% a lie?
At that time, I had a part-time job, and I was working and making my own money, and
So that was just a 100% lie.
100% live, yes.
And so you haven't made any income from We Are Change.
Now I do, yes. Now I make
Okay.
a very small income, not a lot
Is
at
it
all.
public? Is it public what you make?
No,
Why not?
because now we're not doing any advocacy or public work. We're a business now, and a lot of people don't release their income, and I really
Just
don't
like
have much to show.
politicians in Bilderberg, they don't release their income. So you operate like they
Well,
do, right?
some of them do. I mean, Trump didn't this year, but usually.
So you're
politicians sometimes
acting like Trump. Is that why you're
No.
reticent to call him a criminal?
do. No, but I think there's no need for it.
No need to call Trump a criminal, and no need to
No, I never
to
said
show what you make in this thing that you started as a charity.
Well, it's no longer a charity.
Right.
It was never a charity. It was more of doing an event to give money to charity, and we always gave our full books and accounting to the first responders that we gave money to, and there's no first responder,
Sorry, sir.
That's
Chris,
okay.
Chris Dorsey, I love your work.
Yeah, hey, thanks a lot,
and
man.
there's no first responder, no first responder organization that has come out against me with those claims, because they saw the paperwork, they saw the accounting, they saw the books, and none of them believe that. A lot of people who like to make speculations against me do that, and they say those things, but those things are unfounded and untrue.
Fair enough.
And it hurts me because I had a lot of my first responder friends pass away. It was something that really mattered to me, and I did my best to give them all the money that I could, and I did. And it was something that I started, it's something I founded, and something that meant the world to me, and that's why I sacrificed so much for it. And I worked odd jobs, and I made my own money separately, and it's very difficult knowing that you try to do something good and then all these people try
Fair
to
enough.
hate
Hey,
you
I will say one thing. You do take up a lot of oxygen in the movement, and when you're telling me that you make a lot of mistakes with simple things, I mean, I rarely, if ever, hear you talk about the Bank for International Settlements. You don't talk about the Chabad-Lubavitch organized Jewish crime network that controls all the governments of the world, and you obfuscate with the Saudi Arabia did it, 9/11, and I don't think you're hard on Israel at all. So do you ever think like maybe you just don't know enough to be taking money and informing so many people about it, or what is it that makes folks want to listen to you when
I think we're all imperfect,
relatively informed? Well, that's true, but everybody's an imperfect basketball player, but I can't go out on the court with Kevin Garnett or Michael Jordan.
Do you think you have everything right 100% of the time?
I challenge someone, and I challenge them constantly. I make very sure that I verify my message before I put it out there. Yeah.
Are you 100% correct all the time? Are you on point 100% of the time and never made any mistakes ever?
Well, that's not what we're talking about. Of course people make mistakes, but when you make something that's a verified statement on something that's been verified and proven, then it's something different than putting out conjecture that's incorrect and saying like, oh, I just didn't know any better.
Well,
don't you think?
All I'm saying with the things that you raised to me that I'm unaware of, and if you have more information that I could look into.
You're unaware about Israel and 9/11. You're unaware of the Bank for International Settlements and Chabad-Lubavitch.
You mentioned a lot of different things to me.
It's all on tape. Whatever I mention, if you can't keep up with that, man, then...
No, but you mentioned a lot of different things to me.
Yeah, I know a lot.
And said a lot. So if you want to inform me more, give me some information. I'll be
A man
glad to
doesn't
look at
want for anything, but I wish to do things, so I can inform you any way you wish to be informed.
Okay.
And that's what I'm doing right now.
All
so,
right.
hey, I appreciate your time.
Okay.
And, hey, God bless you.
Okay.
And, think about what I said to you, though.
You got it.
All right. God bless.
Talks a little